Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of MSU Sports Circle, the defining voice in all things sports. Join with me always as my fellow colleagues, Matt Johnson, Adrena Anderson, and Trey Codwell. How's everybody feeling today?
Good.
Well, I say we just get right into discussion one, the NFL draft. With the NFL draft approaching, who are some of your top picks?
My top picks are, of course, Andrew Luck, who the Colts already said they're going to take. 2, RG3 going to the Redskins. 3, Matt Khalil going to the Vikings. 4, Trent Richardson going to the Browns. And Tampa Bay is going to take Morris Claiborne.
Yeah, I like to, Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin, they're both getting a lot of hype, but I also like to talk about Trent Richardson from Alabama. 5'9", 228. He has a nice mix of speed and power. He is a playmaker. So, I mean, he's somebody to look out for.
And I think he's kind of underlooked for some reason. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's going to go as a top pick to whoever who wants to get him. But it's something about this, like I said, undersized back that reminds you of like a running back from Ray Rice from Baltimore Ravens. He's just so explosive, and he played for hands down the best coach in collegiate football with Nick Saban. Look out for this man. He's going to be a very explosive guy in the league, and I think he's just going to have an awesome career.
All right, Matt, who are some of your other top picks? If you had to choose right now, who's really impressed you?
Just to go off the top of my head, because there's so many exciting players just looking into this draft starting tomorrow, I'm going to have to go with the guy that won the Fiesta Bowl MVP, which is a 6'4", Oklahoma State wide receiver, Justin Bolton. This man is just like I said, I look at him as just being like a Jerry Rice. I can cut, go in, I can catch here, catch there type of receiver. I can have 2 people covering me, and I can still get it done. And he's just very exciting player. He had over 1,000 yards, 14 TDs, and let him continue this onto the league because he will do this in the next level.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Dez Bryant, who also went to Oklahoma State. So, I mean, he's not only the same build, but, I mean, the same play style, too.
All right, my question for the panel is, are there any players that have not been named that we need to look out for? Who is going to, in y'all's opinions, flourish in the NFL?
Oh, definitely Michael Floyd out of Notre Dame. I mean, he's been a leader of that team, and he hasn't had, the best quality quarterbacks, but, he's making do. And I feel like he will be a Pro Bowler, and he will be a superstar in this league.
Anybody else we should be looking out for?
My personal opinion, it's every year you always have, like you said, in any draft, your top, ones that's all over the media, which are Andrew Lucks. But you really, sometimes you just can't say who's going to be the best. Sometimes we had, 7 rounds in the NFL. It could be somebody from the 5th round. I mean, Tom Brady's a perfect witness to that. He was nowhere to be found in the draft. Look, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Sometimes you just don't ever know. You just have to sit back and just look who goes here, goes there, and give him a couple years and just let them just see who blossoms.
Okay, back to the top players. We all know, and I feel we can all agree that Luck and RG3 are going to be taking top 2. Who, out of those 2, would you rather build your franchise around?
That's a tough question.
That's a very tough question, especially in this discussion because you're talking 1A and 1B. I mean, they're neck and neck. I'd probably take Robert Griffin, though, just for the fact that he's more versatile.
I would say Andrew Luck because he's more a traditional type quarterback. Your man, he's more of the, scrambled Mike Vick style quarterback. And, my man Luck, he's a comeback out of the shotgun and just fired and has a very high IQ of the game. I'm going to go Andrew Luck.
I'm going to have to go with RG3. I think we're seeing now quarterbacks, like you said, who are more versatile, who are able to not only pass the ball but run the ball. Speed in the quarterback position has definitely been something that a lot of these teams have been looking for, and I think RG3, that's where he stands out from most quarterbacks.
All right, well, one thing is for certain. They are 2 dynamic quarterbacks. You got Luck. On the other hand, he is your traditional quarterback. He fits with the Colts perfectly. But on the other hand, you got RG3, who some may consider Michael Vick 2.0. Not only can this kid run, not only can he fill your seats, but he's got accuracy. Now, on that note, we're going to discuss NBA when we come right back on these commercial breaks. So keep it locked, and there'll be more of MSU Sports Circle.
Do you need a way to find new music? Tune in to WPRC. Also hosts with us, Signal in the Sky, featuring new and current independent artists. Eric Riddle's Electro World, featuring dubstep and electronica. Tanner Boyd's Laugh, a great comedy show full of laughs and gags. Derek Moore's Moorhead Metal Vault, a headbanger's delight, loud and in your face. Tyler Mullen's Bluegrass Connection, a classic experience and instrumental tradition. WPRC, great radio-style entertainment. Tune into the show, broadcasting on Channel 77 starting at 6 p.m. Also, check us out on Facebook.
Welcome back. It is now time for NBA. With the playoffs quickly approaching, teams are quickly getting their seeds. Who are some teams to watch out for?
I'm gonna give you this is my top, just off the top of my head. The Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, the Oklahoma Thunder, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Chicago Bulls. Hands down, I don't think no other team really has a chance to, get to the NBA Finals. I think out of those list of teams, one of those will be marching on and will be our Finals winner come June.
I can agree with that, but to also throw out somebody, a team that, hasn't really been looked at, Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they made a lot of noise last year taking out San Antonio in the first round without Rudy Gay, who, may I add, is back. Zach Randolph has averaged 20 and 10 multiple times in his career.
Zach Randolph being out so much and just now getting back in the groove, do you think this can kind of mess up the chemistry they already built when Rudy Gay was the main guy there?
I mean, I think it will. And I think it will hinder him, and I don't think that they're going to get to the finals. I see them making some noise.
And that's the reason why I don't feel like they have a chance. Let's X them out. X them out. It's no way we can. There's no way you feel good about it.
The first round. They're going to get past the Clippers.
Second round, at best. But when it comes down to it, the heavyweights, the Miami Heat, arguably two of the best players we have in the league with LeBron James, D. Wade. Yes, I know everybody's saying yes, they have a weak bench. But let's be honest, two superstar players like that, if they just have that willpower, we are going to do this with a mediocre cast to push us along. Why can't we do this?
I mean, it's not always
a lot to prove, and it's a lot to prove.
It's not always about the top-ranked seeds. Not too long ago, do you remember Golden State taking out the Mavericks? They were the number one seed. It's not always about the number one seeds.
Agree.
Now, while we're talking about, dog fights, scrappy matches, what are some games that us and the viewers at home definitely need to be watching?
Well, being a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder and, being from Dallas, I really look forward to this Oklahoma City Thunder and Dallas Mavericks matchup. I mean, this is the year that Oklahoma City should be able to get over the hump. I mean, they face the same pressures as the Spurs, as the Heat, as the Bulls. The only problem is they're younger. They're a lot younger. And you can't say that they're inexperienced and that, they lack a third consistent scoring presence, but I feel like this is their year. It's going to be, I feel like they can beat the Mavs in 6 games, and it's going to be a great year for them.
There's no reason why I don't think they can get them in 4.
I don't see it. Dirk Nowitzki still plays.
Dirk's Dirk, but I haven't really been set on this team. They didn't come back as defending champions, ready to rock and roll for the repeat. I really believe Oklahoma City, at their best, can beat those guys in 4. Kevin Durant's on a mission. Westbrook's on a mission. James Harden might be a little banged up by that clown Sunday, but he's on a mission once he comes back.
Now, we're talking about the West. Let's take it to the East. Adrena, you and I had talked before the show. Can you tell us about the potential New York-Miami matchup?
I think if the Knicks and the Miami Heat matchup, I think what will have to happen is the Knicks are going to have to see LeBron on the bench. They're going to have to see Bosh on the bench. They're going to have to see D. Wade on the bench because these players are out with injuries. I think if all 3 of these players can get healthy by the time this matchup does come, I don't think the Knicks will have a chance. Now, I do think it will be a good game, but I think that the Heat will take this game. The Heat's always a top contender team, and they're always in the finals, or they always make it to the semifinals. They're a good team. I don't think that the Knicks have what it takes to beat this team.
Okay, quickly, I'm opening this up to the panel. New York or Miami?
Oh, Miami. Miami in 6.
Miami in 6. All right, clearly Miami. Yeah. New York and Miami.
I'm right there with Trey. Miami in 6.
So we have a unanimous decision. Miami is going to take this.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we will be right back with more NBA after these commercial breaks.
I'm so freaking bored.
I cannot handle another hour of the Kardashians.
I wish we'd go bowling.
Me too.
Great.
Your wish has come true. Wilson Lanes, located inside a Laughlin Health Building on campus, has 6 lanes of pure bowling fun, and now with automated scoring. $2 per game and a $1 shoe rental. How could you pass this up?
Welcome back, and now it's time to continue the very good NBA discussion that we had going on. And the MVP race continues, with the Spurs clinching the best record in the West and tying Chicago for best record in the NBA. Should Tony Parker indeed be awarded the MVP?
I say he's one of the candidates, but as far as being rewarded, I'm just not set on that, not just yet.
I feel like it's a toss-up. I mean, you know, people have said that he should because they have won the West. And but I feel like, you know, Russell Westbrook, 2 point guards in the West, you can compare them. Russell Westbrook's, you know, he's averaging more points and more rebounds than him. But, I mean, Tony Parker, you know, he is the front runner in the West who did lead his team. So, I mean, it's a good toss-up question.
I mean, one thing you do have to consider when you're discussing Tony Parker, especially when you're comparing him with dynamic point guards within the same division like Russell Westbrook, Tony Parker is, with all due respect, playing with people who could be considered has-beens. And then the other half, a bunch of what-ifs. You have a bunch of ragtag young individuals. You have a Tim Duncan who's honestly on his last leg, averaging low 20-minute time. Manu Ginobili who consistently cannot stay healthy. And you have a small point guard, to be honest, who is not the best perimeter shooter, not only making an impact, but clearly dominating the West and dominating the league. How do y'all think that's going to – will that factor in? Or in many cases, we see the MVP – is it's turned into a popularity contest. It's almost been decided during the summer.
It has, and you can say the same thing about the All-Star game. And I don't mean to take anything away from Tony Parker. You know, he's a great point guard, great athlete. But I mean, there's still LeBron James, there's still Kevin Durant. It's not what he's not doing, it's just what other people are doing. What Kevin Durant is doing, who may lead the league in scoring, what LeBron James is doing, who's averaging 20 in the upper 20s, lower 30s of points. And not only that, but leading the Miami Heat. So, I mean, it is a toss-up. This year is truly a toss-up.
So should MVP be decided strictly on statistics or on impact?
I say both.
Because if you go by, which outweighs what? Because
honestly,
if impact outweighs statistic, then Tony Parker is your clear-cut MVP.
Right. I mean, I feel like it's a mixture of both. I also feel like they shouldn't be decided till after the season. I feel like this should not be, they should wait till the playoffs and see who does what in the playoffs, and then you should be, you know, given your MVP award.
Okay, that's a very good point. We've talked about MVP. Let's move on to some of the other awards. Who are some people that could potentially take these trophies home?
Just off the top of the head, let's go with, like you said, let's go back with your Thunder. I could see James Harden, 6th man of the year. Why not? He's just coming off the bench, averaging, 16 points, 3 assists, 4 boards, and he's that extra boost to the Thunder, what they need to get over the hump. With a couple injuries with Eric Manor, which I thought was the reason why I didn't know if they would get to the finals if him at the point guard. They really have a good chance to get it done. I
mean, you also got to look at Lou Williams, who comes off the bench and for a period of time was leading the Philadelphia 76ers.
I think he doesn't have a chance just because they're getting outshined. Well, I'm with Justin. It's when it comes down to it, it's a popularity contest.
It is.
Who's doing what? What do the fans want to see? And who are the media talking about the most?
All right. I mean, yeah, that. But who do you look at for defensive player of the year?
It's a 2-man race, in my opinion. I can go Tyson Chandler, how he changed the dynamic front court, the New York Knicks, or you can go with Ibaka, another man down at the Thunder.
I mean, I feel like, you know, Tyson Chandler, he is a presence. I mean, he changes the way
he changes the whole presence.
Right, he does. He changes the way you run offense. But you look at Serge, who's averaging 4 blocks a game.
That's just looking at statistics.
And he also is a presence. But not only is he a presence, he's throwing balls into the bleachers.
Impact, exactly. Tyson does that. Impact. He's changed the whole front court dynamic down there. What team have you seen that he's done? I mean, every team he does it. He did it at the Mavericks, done it this year. Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good possibility.
Like I said, that one.
So in my opinion, in the defensive player of the year race, it's a 2-man race between those two. I don't think nobody else has a chance. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sorry, Dwight Howard, you're out of it. Out of it.
I agree with that. I'd have to agree with that.
Are there any other players we need to be on the lookout for? Is there anybody who could be being overlooked?
As far as defensive player or just overall?
Overall.
I don't think so. I feel like, the players who are getting their credit deserve their credit, and I really don't feel like there's anybody that's really been, left out of a discussion.
Most improved, Avery Bradley. He came in and just changed the whole. It's a different team with him playing. With Ray Allen being banged up this year, I'm loving what he's doing. Coach of the year is Greg Popovich.
I can agree with all that. One thing is for certain, every player and coach named definitely earned their name to be mentioned not only here, but within the NBA ranks. Now, when we return, we will be discussing MLB.
MSUTV's News Center, bringing you up-to-date stories and news. Weather. Sports. Broadcasting from Breckenridge Hall on campus, MSUTV's News Center is a student-produced program and airs every Thursday at 5. Be sure to tune in.
Do you dream of being a radio DJ? What about record music? Learn right here in our labs. Take part in one of the multiple productions put on by students. Edit in one of our labs. Start your career here. Much more than a major. Multimedia Productions.
Welcome back. This early in the season, I can think of a few words to describe MLB. Exciting. Some may call it monotonous. Some may call it what they've been waiting for all year. Here recently, one thing comes to mind, though. Record-breaking. In this edition of Sports Circle's MLB Recap, we have two historic topics to discuss that took place last weekend. First is a surprise perfect game thrown by Chicago White Sox starting pitcher Philip Humber, proof that on any given day, baseball is indeed anybody's game. Then you have the Cincinnati Reds reaching their 10,000th win as a franchise, putting them with only 5 other MLB teams to do so. Correction, 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, 5. Please talk about these topics and break down both the AL and the NL Central divisions.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think Phil Humber pitching a perfect game is very, very significant because in baseball, that's not very common. And like you said, this is a guy that's been tossed around from team to team. People have overlooked him, and it's tough to come in and get 27 up, 27 down. That means your players behind you are going to be having to play perfect defense. And watching this game, he played with so much heart, and you could just tell the entire game that this is what he aimed for. He overcame so much adversity, and he got it done. It's very rare that you see that done, and going down in history for something like that is a major accomplishment.
He just got to take a note where he's just bounced from team to team, tough times in the minors. It's just, how do you see, it's just something about players that end up doing it. It's like another Jeremy Lin type
It's willpower,
story.
and that's what I was about to say. He has he has the chances to be the Jeremy Lin of baseball. I mean, he went 9-9 last year, so I mean, he was at 500. I'm eager to see how he's going to do for the rest of the year. I mean, he's in his prime now. Either he's going to sink, or he's going to use this and he's going to soar.
I think this is a perfect opportunity for him, as you said, to either sink or soar. I think this is a perfect opportunity. The fans are loving him. He's getting so much publicity from this, and this is a time where you need to capitalize on what you just did, and I think that we'll see good things from him.
Oh yeah, that definitely had to raise his confidence. If he was ever doubting himself, all those doubts had to go out the window.
Well, one thing is for certain, this is no short of amazing. I mean, rags to riches stories always, hits the heart of viewers. And please believe other players are probably, texting, tweeting, Facebooking him how amazing this is. Him himself, he probably crying on the inside. So shout out to him. Let's talk about the AL Central a little bit.
The AL Central?
Yes, please.
I mean, you got to look at my team, to coming out, not only to contend, but to, could win it all is Detroit. They're stacked. Prince Fielder's batting .328. Miguel Cabrera has 13 RBIs, and Justin Verlander's on fire with a 1.72 ERA and 31 Ks. That means whenever you play them, y'all are lucky to get a score in. Y'all are lucky, y'all aiming. If y'all get 2, y'all are doing great. So, I mean, I feel like they are really on fire right now.
And like you said, this team does have it all. They have a pitcher who's stepping up and getting it done. They have people who are at the plate getting it done. defensively getting it done. When you have this many factors that are working in your way, it's hard to get beat. Like you said, the pitcher's only giving up maybe 1 run a game. So for the other teams who are playing them, you're going to have to make this defense work. You're going to have to make this pitcher work because it's hard for you to come in and get it, to score off of them.
Okay. Is there anything else MLB-wise? I mean, it's amazing how much has gone on in such a short time. Is there any other notable performances?
I'm not going to say anything individually. I'll say, like, as a unit, the Cardinals, I mean, I really thought they would struggle this year without Pujols. But, I mean, Chris Carpenter has been pitching amazingly, and that's great.
Well, one thing is for certain, this has definitely been a great MLB season. Tune in. It's going to continue to be great MLB season, and we will be right back after these commercial breaks.
Are you having roommate problems? Maybe there's a problem with your room itself that you really just need fixed. Do you need some advice about school, but you're just not sure where to turn to? Did you know your RA can help you with all of these things and so much more? You can find your RA by knocking on their door, catching them during their desk hours, or calling your building's duty phone. Either way you cut it, go see your RA today.
It is now time for our MSU Weekly Recap portion of the show. The MSU Eagle baseball team lost their game on Sunday, in my opinion, due to their 6 errors. Can we get a recap, and where do we need to improve?
Well, I feel like it was a very, very sloppy game. 6 errors, as you stated, 12 runners stranded on base. No matter how good you hit or how good you do anything else, with 12 runners left on base and 6 errors, you're not going to win. It's not going to happen. That's the equivalent to throwing 3 or 4 interceptions a game. It's difficult to win. You got to clean it up. You got to get it together and stop being so sloppy as a unit.
I agree. The guys won 2 of the games out of the series, and they came back and they lost this game. I think that kind of goes back to having the mentality, we have this in the bag. This late in the season, you want to secure that top-ranking spot for conference so you can go in conference and you can face a lower seed. So you don't want to take any of your opponents lightly. And another reason, they lost to a team that was ranked below them. Now, the guys did move up in rankings. They went from 4, and now they're back at 3. But still, you don't want to be losing to teams that you're not supposed to lose to, not this late in the season.
But you know what? I think these bad losses like this with any sport team, I think you take it and you build character off of it. We look like, how do we lose to a team like this? No offense, just looking at the record on paper, they're not as good as us. How did we do this? But you take that as motivation, you come out the next game, you get ready to go.
The thing that scares me is not that we're losing, it's how we're losing this close to conference play. 6 errors and conference plays, coming up. Fellas got to get it together.
We got to buckle down more on
the
film sessions. We need to buckle down more on it.
I agree with that, yeah.
So is scouting where we need to improve?
That could be.
Is this one singular problem? What are the issues?
I mean, I feel like it's a snowball effect. After 2 or 3 errors, I mean, I feel like it just keeps going, and it just gets worse. You just need to don't worry about it, move on. Conference play's coming, get your head together, get ready, get focused.
I think I can speak for the entire panel by saying, we have faith in the men's Eagle team. We have no doubt in our mind that they will buckle down. They will make this university proud. So let's move on to the MSU ladies softball team. They went to battle with the University of Kentucky yesterday. Can we get some recaps of this game, and where exactly do the ladies go from here?
The game against the University of Kentucky actually wasn't a bad game. It was a very close game. It was only 3-1. And if you take out the 2 home runs that were hit, Kentucky, they didn't have any really significant hits. The Lady Eagles didn't hit as good as they have normally been doing, so I think that's kind of where they lost the game. But it was not a bad game at all. It was a close game, and compared to other teams that the Lady Eagles have been playing in conference, I think this is one of the better games they played.
Okay, other opinions?
I feel like, it was a great game. Like she said, it was 3-1. I mean, that's a great low-scoring game, and y'all were in it the whole game. So, I mean, that's great. I feel like to move on, y'all just need to, win y'all series and, just, if anything, use this as a learning experience and build off of it. not only for the rest of this year, but for next year, and just get ready and get focused.
Okay, Matt, are we moving towards a positive direction?
One game at a time. You always, like I said, you're always going to have your bumps in the road, loss. You've seen correct errors that can be fixed. And it can, like I said, but with the men, you sit down and you got to buckle more down on the film sessions. Be like, what is the problem? Why do we keep losing games that we are capable of winning? We can't do this. I think they are. They're moving in the right direction. I think so.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like it is buckling down and winning. I feel like the talent's there. So I feel like it's not like, the talent's not there.
Okay, well, one thing is for certain, it's like what Matt said, one game at a time, but it is looking on the up and up for both of these clubs. That is all the time we have for Weekly Recap, and we will be back with closing segments right after this commercial break.
Do you need last-minute snacks for your event? Maybe you need munchies for your late-night study sessions. Either way, come on down to the MSU Pod Store, where we have all of the drinks, beverages, snacks, munchies, and candy to satisfy your late-night cravings. The MSU Pod Store, located in Alumni Tower, open weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Hungry and only have a short break? Come to A-Duck. Come enjoy favorite restaurants such as Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Pio, Croutons, and Asian Express. Get in and get out fast. Quick and yummy.
Now you know we had to talk about it. The elbow heard around the world. It looks like Meta World Peace took the back seat, and our old friend Ron Artest took over. In their game against OKC, Artest elbowed James Harden. Is this really as serious as people are making it out to be? Does the punishment really fit the crime?
Yes. The elbow that Meta World Peace threw, people are trying to say that it wasn't intentional. It's been all over TV, all over SportsCenter. That was an intentional elbow, and I think his punishment is very fitting. He was out with a concussion. That was a blatant elbow to the face, to the head, and I think that the punishment is very fitting. He should not be paid those 7 games that he's suspended.
I think he should be suspended longer. When he has a track record, like he said, back when he was Ron Artest, how many times have we done this? The big vicious fight you had at the Detroit years ago with the Pacers, he should be suspended the rest of the playoffs or whatever, maybe a couple games coming in the next year.
I compare this to Ndamukong Suh and what he did stomping on one of the other NFL players. I feel like, his crime does fit. If anything, I feel like it should be more games. If anything, you should have learned from Andrew Bynum elbowing J.J. Barea last year. I feel like the Lakers are just really out of control, and they're just rowdy. It's not necessarily a bad thing for the team. It's good to have that edge, but you got to control it, draw back a little bit.
Now, how does this affect both teams, both OKC and LA, who are legitimate contenders within the same division?
Ron Artest is defensively, he's a defensive mastermind playing, so it's going to hurt them on defense, but, Russell Westbrook, as we said, Kevin Durant, they can't do this by themselves. Their third leading scorer, Nail, is concussed and doesn't really, we don't know how he's going to bounce back from this.
So OKC, is it safe to say that OKC lost more in this ordeal than LA?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Lakers, it doesn't matter with Ron Artest with the Lakers. They can win a series without this man. He's not, let's be honest, has he really had that good of a season?
No, he's splitting minutes with Matt Barnes anyway. So, he's a defensive presence, but besides that, he really doesn't bring anything else to the table besides that attitude.
That's it.
All right, let's get an opinion. Can James Harden bounce back?
Yeah, I feel like he can bounce back. It's a concussion. It happens.
James Harden will be out a couple games of playoffs, but he'll be ready to rock and roll once it matters.
Adrena, yes or no? Can he bounce back?
I think he can.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching MSU Sports Circle, and we will be back next week.
Morehead State University's new state-of-the-art recreation level
Why they roll credit so quick?
with the opportunity to
They roll that like
come enjoy our track overlooking the basketball courts, or take our bikes, ellipticals, treadmills, Stairmasters, and other cardio machines for a spin to help you break a sweat. And once you've worked up and breathing, pump some iron down in our weight room. Come visit MSU's new Recreation Wellness Center, open 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays today.
Discipline. Leadership. Strength. Enroll in Morehead State Army ROTC today and become an Army officer. Morehead State ROTC. Leadership Excellence. Located in Button Auditorium.
Morehead State University's new state-of-the-art Recreation and Wellness Center offers you the opportunity to get in shape. Come enjoy our track overlooking the basketball courts, or take our bikes, ellipticals, treadmills, Stairmasters, and other cardio machines for a spin to help you break a sweat. And once you've worked up and breathing, pump some iron down in our weight room. Come visit MSU's new Recreation Wellness Center, open 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays today.
Discipline. Leadership. Strength. Enroll in Morehead State Army ROTC today and become an Army officer. Morehead State ROTC. Leadership Excellence. Located in Button Auditorium.